What's up, Topeka? Welcome to the I'm From Topeka podcast, broadcasting straight from the... We're here to bring you the stories of people in the pulse of Topeka. Whether you're a longtime resident or just curious about what makes the city tick, we've got you covered. And sitting across from me today, we got my man.
What's up? I'm Mike G, independent musician, artist. I'm super hyped today, man. I've been waiting for this episode. Who we got today?
Man, we got, I'm going to say the legend, because we were talking before we actually started the podcast, but he is a local legend here, man, for sure. We got Adrian Herrera, man. Let's give it up. I mean, first of all, let me say, two-time state champion.
Hey, put some respect on.
Hold on, put some respect on my name. Say it
Highland
right.
Park, represent.
Yeah, got to.
Let's go.
HP, you know what I mean? That's the only time
Shout out
I'll say
Highland Park.
HP's great. That's the only time that you'll hear me say it is because we got the legend here. But no, man, we appreciate you for being able to come, man.
Yes,
you got
sir. Thank you so
Appreciate,
much.
appreciate you having me, guys.
super talented, man, and everything that you do. We have so much that we could dive into and that we're going to dive into with what you're doing. But man, again, thank you for carving time out of your schedule to come down and get on the podcast, because this means a lot, man. This
For sure.
really does mean a
I
lot.
appreciate you guys. Anytime I can. I love hopping on podcasts anyways, but like, you know, meeting you guys at the big not
Kev,
meeting
get
you
back.
guys, but seeing you guys
Yeah.
and y'all reaching out. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. And it's love, bro. Like everything that you're doing positively in the community, you know what I mean? As busy as you are, but also being able to come back and give back. And like I said, just, you know, coming and kick it with us and being on the podcast is huge, man. Like
Sure.
I'm a fan of you, man, for you. And for sure, like I want to say, like I did with JQ too, man, I got to give you your flowers because you're paving the way for a lot of people here in the community, especially for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your video editing, everything that you're into, like it's something for me to look up to and understand. Like I'm not on that level where you're at, but seeing the work that you do and like the storytelling and the narrative and, you know, the shots and the different angles and the color correcting on your edits, bro, is amazing. So,
Appreciate it,
you're
man.
doing your
Thank
thing.
you. I appreciate you.
I've been
For
taking
sure.
notes too, man. I've
For
been,
sure.
I've been studying what you've been doing too. And I've been taking a lot of notes. So
Appreciate
congrats
it,
on
man.
all
Yeah,
that.
and I appreciate you guys, man. I love what you're doing with the I'm here.
I'm from Topeka.
I'm
yeah.
from Topeka
Yeah.
podcast, bro, and bringing, you know, shedding light to positive things in Topeka.
For sure.
Anything that, you know, more of that is necessary.
Yeah,
you know what
for
I mean?
sure.
Like
For sure.
you definitely have, you know, being from Topeka, you see the highs and the lows, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But there's definitely a need for more positivity, you know. So
For sure.
you guys are bringing that.
Man, I
You know what I'm
appreciate
saying?
that. Yeah,
we're
let's
trying.
appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah.
So,
It's shining. So, man, so as we dive in, man, I mean, we know who you are. Like, we dive into your background a little bit, but let everybody know that may not know you, you know, who you are, where you're from, and kind of what you do right now.
yeah, for sure. So Adrian Herrera, I'm from Topeka, Kansas. Graduated from Highland Park in 2008. Two-time state champion. Got to throw that in there.
Yeah.
2007, 2008. Part of the Hall of Fame team. In 2007, they went undefeated.
Yeah.
We were. That's kind of where people knew me originally,
Mhm.
was from my basketball.
Yeah.
Growing up playing basketball on the southeast side of Kansas, Topeka, Kansas. And so when I graduated, I mean, what I do now is I'm a freelance cinematographer. So I tell people I'm a commercial and TV cinematographer, and I do that. I run my own business. I'm a freelancer. I'm also a mentor. I run a program called the Cinematography Lounge, which is an online mentorship community that I run, where I kind of give more game than what I do on my YouTube or Instagram. You know, I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff on my Instagram, but a lot of people like have had like a lot of more questions, like when would DM me to go deeper or like on the business side. So it's a place where like I talk about, you know, the numbers of my business, the thing, like how do you charge, what I charge. I go deeper into the cinematography things, the technical side of something that's like you wouldn't share on Instagram because only like 5 people would understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But people that want to go deeper and want to know those types of things, I deep dive, go like a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
In the Cinematography Lounge, which is a Patreon. It's a
Okay,
subscription base if anybody's interested. So I do that, and then most importantly, I'm a husband. My wife and I celebrated 10 years.
Let's
a
go.
couple months ago.
Congratulations
Yeah,
on
I
that.
appreciate it. And I'm
Big
a
deal.
father of 5. So we got
There you go.
2 little girls
Lovely.
and 3 boys.
Let's go. I didn't know
So,
5.
Yeah.
5, bro.
Y'all
Man.
big family.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
Man, Nick
Lots of
Cannon out here. You know?
content.
Hey, one baby mama.
there you go. That's true. That's your
Respect,
wife. You know,
respect.
wife. Put it that way. Wife that way. And
Yeah.
that's huge, man. That's awesome. I didn't know you had
That
5,
is.
man.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
a
That's-
lot.
yeah,
So we
that's
got
dope.
8. So I'm telling you, bro, whenever I'm on set, so like being in the film industry,
Yeah.
so like people were like, you know, just casual conversation around lunch or something, and they're like, yeah, man, you know, I'm getting, you know, my little one is going crazy, you know? And then they're like, hey, you got any kids? I'm like, they're like, how old? And I'm like 8, 6, 5, 3, 2, and then like 5 kids.
Yeah.
And I butchered those. Like they're around there,
definitely,
8 to 2.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll have to
There you
think. But like every time I get the same response, like
Yeah.
just like, are you serious? Because like a lot of people in the film industry, we travel a lot. There's a lot of like single people, like, you know, 'cause that's just the lifestyle.
Mhm.
Like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
because there's
Yeah.
so many different levels in the film industry too.
For
You
sure.
can do like feature films where you're gone for like 6 months, commercials, documentaries, you could be gone for like a
Dang.
weekend. So a lot of people don't build families. But I was always one to be like, I want to build my family and then kind of build my career and not compromise that. You know what I
Man,
mean?
that's
Like,
awesome.
build it around the family,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
make it
yeah.
a
You know
whole
what I
thing.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so it's
awesome.
not common. It's not common. It's not common in the film industry. It's
No.
not common.
It's not common. Like, I mean,
Any,
That's not-
yeah, like any industry
Yeah.
for the most part, unless,
Yeah.
you know, like, I mean, I guess like what the TLC, that show, John and Kate plus
Oh,
8.
right.
You know what I mean?
Hey, I wanted 8. Originally, I wanted 8.
Did you?
Yeah, because I'm like, after 8, you don't have to pay taxes.
Man,
So,
all right,
you're
all right.
close, and you're close.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like,
close.
we're right
But
there.
But my wife was
there.
like, no, I'm cool. I'm like, all right,
I'm good
bet.
on
All right,
five.
3 more.
You
guys-
got-
I mean, you got to start in lineup for basketball, though.
I know.
So, I mean, you're
hey,
good.
hey, you know, I have them out there. You know, they
Yeah.
gonna know how to shoot.
Squad,
They-
I was a shooter. They gonna know how
Yeah,
to
you
shoot.
definitely were.
They might
man.
not know how to pass.
Yeah.
You know, I can't hand that to them genetically, but they gonna know how to
They
shoot.
gonna know how to shoot
I'ma
more
teach them how
ways
to
than
shoot.
one, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
For shoot the shot at both
For
shots.
sure. For sure. I don't miss.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But man,
no.
so you're doing so much. I don't remember exactly what it was that got the crazy thing is I don't know if you remember. I reached out to you. I think it's been like 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, I think I remember.
And I just wasn't quite at that time. I didn't have like everything together as far as for what music video, but I remember talking to you and be like, man, I just love because I found you and I started watching everything and I was like, man, he's really like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So what really kind of I guess got you into just videography in general? Like what started you down that path, would you say?
Yeah, so like I said, growing up in Topeka, like basketball was like my life. Like it was like I always say like basketball was my first love and film was my second. Excuse me. And so when I was about like 13, I was downloading a bunch of clips from LimeWire. Remember LimeWire back in the day?
all the viruses, you know.
You're right.
We definitely
For real.
remember.
So
Getting all
hey,
the
so I
music.
downloaded like a ton of just like Michael Jordan highlights on LimeWire. And I was like I literally like basketball, I was so obsessed with it. Like NBA TV was on all day, like NBA classics. Like I knew all the old players, Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan, Larry, but like I just studied the game, you know?
Mhm.
And so I don't know what got me into it, but when I was 13, I downloaded a bunch of clips and I pulled up Windows Movie Maker. And then I put together, I sat down like at night, like that night. And it was like the sun came up and all of a sudden I was like done with this video.
Yeah.
And it was like this Michael Jordan highlight to like this Tupac song Until the End of Time, you know, all these dings and hits.
Yeah.
And I put together this video and I was just like, yo, this is like the best thing
a
I ever
movie.
did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so from that moment, I was like hooked from like filmmaking and storytelling, you know? And so
awesome.
from that moment, I was like, you know, in middle school, I would like take assignments and ask the teacher if I could like do a video instead. I would do short films with my brothers and like some of my friends from the neighborhood. And it would just build from there. And I took that into high school, did the same thing, asked my teacher, hey, can I do a video instead? Never thought that I would able to do, you know, to make a living or do a profession. It was just something I just loved to do. And it was just
Yeah.
something fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of that was my intro into
Mhm.
it. And kind of playing around and just doing stuff and making videos and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Just kind of finding that love
Yeah.
through that. Like,
Yeah,
man,
just
I'm good at this.
messing
Yeah,
around
it's the
and-
whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think that I trace it back. Like my dad was like, we would like he collected VHS tapes. So we would like watch movies all the time. Like,
Mhm.
you know, don't matter what it was, like Jackie Chan, like, you know, and people would like rent movies from him. So I think like my dad was like a mover of lovies. I think a lover of movies.
Yeah.
I think that kind of trickled down to me of like cinema. I just love cinema. You know,
Because
what I
you
mean?
had, you had all the classics all the time. So
bro.
like,
Yeah, I
man,
mean,
like,
he would
getting
just
all that
like, you know, back
influence.
then, if you had a big VHS collection, like
Yeah.
that was it.
You
know,
were the
it was like,
man.
for
You were
real.
on the
Yeah.
block.
There
You
it
was
wasn't
the man.
DVDs, it was VHS.
Like you got
VHSs.
10 racks of all
For
the
real.
VHS. What? Hold on.
Yeah.
For real. He was serious about.
Yeah,
So I think
that's
that's
awesome.
just so that's where I started, man. And then I went to school when I played basketball. Went to junior college and I went to Pittsburgh State University to finish up my career. But I was like, same thing. I was like, okay, how can I like make college fun? It was like communications. I can do video. I'm like, all right, bet. without even thinking I could make a living from it. It was just something I wanted to do as for fun.
Just resorted
while
like you
I'm
did
in
before.
school.
Like, okay, let's just go resort to
exactly.
what's fun.
And
Yeah.
so, but I was learning more. I was like winning competitions in school, like for the classes of like who can make the best video. I was like out doing like the video people that were doing video full time. Like as a basketball player, me and my teammates were making stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, damn, I'm pretty good. You know?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until I graduated, I was done with college basketball. But I needed one more semester to get my degree. So, and my wife was my wife was still in school at the time. She needed a year, like a year and a half more. So I was like still in school, you know, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But I was like, once I was done with college basketball, I had a semester left. I took all the film classes that I could take. Like they had brought back like 2 crazy film classes, like documentary filmmaking, like TV directing, producing that they hadn't done in like 7 years.
Yeah.
So I like jumped on that. I'm like, oh, heck yeah, I got the time.
Yeah.
This is like perfect for me. I don't want to do like news or I want to do like creative. I want to do commercials. I want to like films. And so I took those classes and like, that's when like my filmmaking like really took like a serious turn of like, I created this show called On Campus with my boy Drake, who was doing amazing things at, he's at Adidas now in LA.
That's cool.
Marketing, crazy, but he was my creative partner on that.
Yeah.
And so we created this show where we would do like these like comedy skits, like 3 episodes or 3 like skits per episode.
Yeah.
And we did that for like 8 weeks straight. I'm talking like shooting these episodes, editing, having like a day to like just sleep and then do it all over again the next week. You know what I mean? I'm like staying up all night. I'm just like grinding because like it's fun. Like all my old teammates are like wanting to hop in the episodes. The football team got a part of it because they were seeing it. So like,
a thing.
Bro,
Like,
it was called On Campus with A1 and Drake. My nickname's A1.
Yeah.
And so it was like everybody wanted to be on campus with A1 and Drake.
That's dope. That's awesome.
You know,
That's
and so
awesome.
that took off, and then like my professors was taking notice of like, man, this is like really good. This is like some of the best stuff we've seen in this program. So that was encouraging. Again, graduated my bachelor's degree, didn't know what I wanted to do. My wife was still finishing up her degree in education. So I'm like, I might as well get my master's degree because she's going to be still in school. I'm going to still be here with her. We had just got married at the time, like just got married. And so I was also getting a grant to get my school paid for.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I'm going to take advantage of this grant. And then I want to take, and I also got a GA position. So it was like, I had money to go to school.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, bet I'm just doing my master's degree. Finishing up my master's degree, I had to do a thesis statement, or I'm sorry, a thesis, which is a 120-page paper or whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. So somebody said, you can do a creative project. I just remember somebody saying that in the class. I'm like, hold on, what?
Yeah.
You can do a creative project?
Yeah.
And then,
So I'm about to go crazy.
bro, I'm like, I bet I'm going to do a documentary.
Yeah.
There we go. Perfect.
Same thing I've been doing, taking classes or taking assignments and turn it into a video.
Yeah.
And so what I decided to do was full-length documentary on Highland Park Basketball. It was my coach's last year at that time. The coach that I had played for, Coach Darden, it was his last year at Highland Park because he was going to leave the next year. So I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity to follow his team to try to go to the state championship, but also to tell the history of Highland Park basketball. And so that's when that idea came. I called Coach. He was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, bet. And so spent a whole year basically following the team, doing research, interviewing, put together that. And then I presented, my professors with, it was like halfway done, but I presented them this documentary, and it won a national award. And then it got like a honors. It was like, they basically call it like the best thing to come out of Pitt State's communication program.
Wow.
Congrats on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Man.
Shout
And
out.
so
yeah.
that's when it was like, with that project alone, all coming from all the way from like middle school to like, oh, this is just for fun. That's when I knew I was like, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
I'm taking this real serious now.
I'm taking it serious because
Yeah.
like, not only am I like, I had like a proof of concept of like, oh, I could do a show and it's really good. People are liking it, but it's like, okay, this thing won a national award.
Yeah.
I told a story. I did research. I'm researching documentaries to see the story structure, and that's what it took for me to open the eyes of like, okay, in the workforce, this is where I'm going to be the most valuable.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to this route.
That makes
And
sense.
so I like scrapped up my resume of like, multi this of like filming.
All that
Yeah,
stress.
you know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
Like, let me
Yeah.
simplify this. Boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to do film.
Yeah.
And so graduated with my master's degree. My wife graduated. We moved up to Kansas City. because I wanted to be in a bigger market for
sure.
to get a video job. I ended up I ended up working at a bank doing
Window, like, transactions.
I forgot what you call them.
Can't
But
remember.
I almost got fired because like that's when I found out I was ADHD. I had no idea.
Don't you love when that happens when you finally found
I
out?
lost track of that count too many times. I gotta recount again. Sorry.
Crazy thing is, I'm like supposed to be like depositing money. I'm like withdrawing. So like I'm like giving people money. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh snap. So it's like I made one too many mistakes. My boss came to me.
Short. Yeah. Man, this is
Bro, my boss came to me and said, basically you have one more chance or you're gonna get fired.
Yeah.
Dang. My wife is pregnant. We're living with family friends in Kansas City.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like buying time to try to find an apartment. I can't lose my job. And like maybe less than a month after that, a buddy seen the trailer for my documentary that I made.
Yeah.
And it wasn't out yet. He just seen the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, hey man, I know your sister from school. I'm in film now. That's what I do for a living. But my buddy is a boss at Advisors Excel in Topeka.
Yeah.
I'm sure like when you're ready, hit me up. I'll hit him up. And I'm sure you can get a job there, like doing video.
Yeah.
And so I was like, dang, all right, bet. So like I finished the documentary, I put it out and I hit him up like, hey man, I'm looking for a job. And sure enough, I interviewed at Advisors Excel, got the job like right before I was about to get fired. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
at the bank,
at that point.
and I was like, man, praise God. Like that was like a
amen.
God moment where like I wasn't stressing about it, but I'm like, it was right on time because my baby was my first child was about to be born.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got into like professional, my first job, making money doing film.
And shout out
at
AE.
a small agency.
Shout out AE.
Yeah. AE like has their own advertising agency basically.
I got you. Yeah. So
Within the company, you know what I mean? So
in that documentary, man, like I'm a huge fan of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm hoy hoy mighty Troy, Trojans all the way. But that documentary, bro, like it has so much history and so much like, and shout out to Coach Darting because great man, being able to be coached by him and led by him during that time, and all the athletes after is just a staple for the city, really.
For sure.
And man, that documentary, We Not Me.
Yep, We Not Me. You can watch it on YouTube right now.
It's on YouTube.
It's got like 60,000 views on it. It's not bad.
It's nice. I remember
like even now the story holds up.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
The cinematography and stuff is like you can tell it's like kind of amateur, but the story is good. So if anybody's interested in knowing more about the Highland Park story, We Not Me is it.
It's it. Yeah, for sure. I remember buying a copy from you. A hard copy, and I have it stored away somewhere. I have it still. But man, I bought that.
I was trying to
copy
raise
from
funds,
you.
bro, because I was spending so much money. I was like college student, like finishing up, and I was like, I did a Kickstarter.
Yeah, I remember that.
You, it helped me buy a computer to finish the documentary, and like I did a whole thing for. I'm like, dang, bro, that Kickstarter was successful.
It was, bro.
I was only supposed to like raise like $1,500. I'm like, okay, I need $1,500, bro. The first like day, I raised like 4,000.
So what'd you do exactly with the Kickstarter? Like what
it was like I needed money to finish the film. So basically what happened was I had finished the documentary up to a point to graduate. But in order to like finish the full story, I still needed to like kind of do a little bit more, put it together. I was leaving my college. I didn't have anything to edit on. Yeah. And so I'm like, I need some funds to help finish this film. Yeah. So when I graduated, I like the partial film won a national award, but the whole film had not come out yet. Okay. So I needed to raise money to finish it. And so what I did was like anybody who like, donated at a certain level, you get like a We Not Me t-shirt. You get to come to the screening, which I had at Highland Park. You know what I mean? And then like there was like $500 donors who like received a signed basketball from all the players in the documentary and myself and Coach Jordan. So it was like a dope thing, bro.
It was really dope.
It was. And that was super cool. That was the first time I heard of crowdfunding in my whole life. Yeah. Like, it was crazy.
A DIY move, right?
That's what I'm saying, bro. I was in the communication lab at Pittsburgh State, and this dude was just talking. Like, literally, I'm just chilling. And this dude was just talking over there on the couch about, like, how he's crowdfunding for this comic book that he's making. I'm like, hold up. Hey, bro, what?
Yeah, you doing what?
And so he explained it to me. Yeah, man, you Kickstarter, people can give you money, and you get the drawers. I'm like, light bulb. I'm like, oh, perfect. So it was like, made a dope trailer and told people what I was doing. And man, the whole Topeka just kind of came behind me and supported.
That's what they needed. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like,
it was like a community project, bro. And like so many people was just waiting for that film to come out.
Yeah. I was so stoked. Because at
similar
that time,
to like the film that I did now.
Well, you know what I mean? Here's the thing. Like, I'm upset because I was so looking forward to like, I'm not upset. So let me put it that way because your vlog did drop.
Yeah.
Because when you first uploaded it, boy, I clicked on that thing so quick and it said private. And I was like, my heart. I was like, I'm trying to see what my man's doing. And then it came out later on, like throughout the day, and it wasn't private no more on YouTube. But the vlog just for that. But going back to that, We Not Me, man, you dropped it around the same time that I started getting into like my vlogging and things like that. And I was like, man, I just want to learn more.
Mayo, bro. And that was also a move too. Like Mexican colors, Highland Park colors. It was like sick with the bone.
You did,
you know what I mean?
You hit it right on key with everything, bro. And like just seeing that, like being in the community and watching, you know, at that time, because at that time I was going through so much. Like I was living back at home with my parents and I was trying to get into my own like vlogging and like content creation. And I remember reaching out to you and asking you like, hey, like I have a Canon Rebel T6i. Like, you know, I'm vlogging on this. It's a big old camera. Like, what should I do? Like, how should I edit? Because I was shooting raw. And I was like, I didn't really know. And you was giving me like little clips here and there. And it was like, oh, I would do this. I would set the lighting here, or I would put a microphone here if you're going to do an interview and stuff. So it was all those things that it really showed like how much you were doing, but it also, like I said, shine the light on like everything that our community was backing as well.
So for sure, bro. It was like, I felt like it was a community project.
It was.
And the crazy, man, because like, you know, you saying that like so long ago, like, man, people hit me up like that all the time. And like, bro, I meet people like, man, what, like I met this dude one time at this filmmaking event, and it was maybe a year ago. It was a year ago. That's what it was. And we went to like this filmmaking event, like a networking event in Kansas City. And then this dude caught me outside. He was like, hey man, I don't know if you remember me, but like a few years ago, I hit you up and like you just wrote back this long thing. And I'm like, I'm so glad I responded to you because like, you know, like that, man. Like, hey, bro. Because sometimes I can't, bro. Sometimes I forget. Bro. Or sometimes it's like, you know what I mean?
It's overwhelming.
And he was just so encouraged, man. You know, and I'm like, man, like I really, you know, I take that serious, you know, like that
impact.
I try to
you know, I try to
impactful. Make sure I reach out to people that reach out to me and show love, because like you never know how you can, you know, inspire somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Or be that influence for somebody. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like I'm like with everything that we got with I'm From Topeka, the TikTok and you know Facebook and all that stuff. A lot of people reaching out to me, and I do my very best to respond because I respond to everybody. But sometimes those messages going to a request folder.
I be forgetting, bro.
Yeah, or like I'll be like,
respond 2 months later. Like I responded to somebody today. Like they hit me up like a month ago. I'm like, oh, shoot, my bad, bro.
Yeah, it's like and it's just like it's not like you're trying to, but you're busy, and you know it's not like you just want to be like, oh yeah, I got this, and like I don't care about responding. No, you like to respond, and it's genuine. You know what I mean?
And nowadays, and that's why I started the Patreon, because my online mentorship community, because like some young, like there'll be like some college kids or like somebody trying to, you know, make it in the industry, and they might. I've gotten like 5 questions. Hey, and I'm like, bro, you know, it's like you can't expect somebody to just answer your 10 questions.
Right.
And so now I'm just like, hey, bro, you know, appreciate you reaching out. Here's, you know, I run this mentorship program. You know what I'm saying? Here's the link. Let me know if you're interested.
So,
you know, I can answer your questions there. Or like, there might be, there's some stuff in there that I know will answer your questions.
Yeah,
that's kind of why I did it, because like, not only does it help you, like, but it helps me too. Because it's valuing my time as well.
I was just gonna say, a lot of people don't, like, that's the thing, like with everything that you're doing. That's why I said I'm so appreciative of what you're doing, like being able to come out here and chop it up with us, because time is valuable. That's one thing. Like money, I don't care about money. Like I know money is a resource that we all need and you know you can use, but the biggest resource to me is my time. Like I would love to give you my time, but sometimes my time is gonna come at a cost. And it's not like I'm trying to make $1 million or I'm trying to be rich off of, you know, you trying to get my time, but it's just like it's respectable, you know what I mean? Like I want to answer everything, you know, I want to do all that stuff and I want to be there and I want to do this, but I just also have to feed my family, you know.
But you know what, man? Going on like it's kind of a different route. Like, like when like the best way I always tell people, like to if you're wanting to reach out to somebody that you're looking up to or like want to learn from, is okay. What kind of value can you bring to the table?
Exactly.
Like, bro, I've had people like that. Hey, man, I love what you're doing. Literally, will do anything for free for you, just to learn, just to be under you, just to if you ever need any help. I use those people. Not use them, but I will hire those people.
Exactly.
Like two of my closest friends right now in the film industry reached out to me because they wanted to just learn. And now I hired them every single time. Now we're
Yeah.
close friends.
Exactly.
Because they brought value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
Boom.
like, hey, you know,
Not a selfish move like, hey,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
can you shoot something for me?
Yeah,
and show
yeah.
me how you do
or
it.
like, hey, you know, if you ever need help, you know, I'm available. It's like,
yeah,
I do need help, but you know, so it's like honestly,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
like if you show love to me, like I'm somebody who is like, I want to get you paid.
Yes.
If I
Yes.
can't pay you
That's
myself,
important.
I'm gonna get you paid. And
Exactly.
I've done that, and it's like that's some of my closest friends. Like I've mentored, like,
Yeah.
and now we're like boys.
Yeah.
And because they reach out and they brought value, and
Exactly.
it's like now we all eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind.
That's like
That's
the best
so
way to
important.
get on. With
It,
somebody.
so
I
important.
have this video on TikTok where I talk about everybody can't go. Like everybody that you're surrounding yourself with, you have to really pay attention because a lot of people that you're surrounding yourself with, like when I started getting more notoriety on TikTok, Facebook, and things like that, I've been doing it for years, but now things starting to pick up. So a lot of those people that were around me, I don't necessarily kick it with no more
Right,
because
for real.
a lot of people want to be like, oh, I just want to be at the same table. I want to be at the same table you're
Yeah.
at because I want to
Yeah.
eat off of your plate.
Yeah, bro.
And it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
everybody can't eat off the plate.
No.
Like
That-
I
I
want to
mean-
be able to feed everybody.
Bro,
Yeah.
that's I mean, I'm really big on that, bro. You know, it's like my day ones
Mhm.
are like, that's who's gonna eat first.
Exactly.
Now, if I need help
Yeah.
and you have a specialty, it's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach out. Thank you
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Like
Yeah.
now I know, yeah, I'm gonna keep you
Mhm.
in mind.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, you know, it's like they see me like, you know, posting something with like Mahomes or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, something like, you know,
Yeah.
notable. And it's
Right.
like, then it's like and I'm just like, bro, it's too late.
Yes,
You know what I mean? It's like, bro,
Like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like my first job, it was like I didn't have budget to hire anybody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of my boys came and helped me for free.
yeah, yeah.
And now he's right there.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
been on the ESPN jobs. He's been on because it's like
Yeah.
I didn't even have it back then, but he was
Yeah.
willing to help just to learn and
Like,
now
come alongside.
Yeah, yeah.
with
and now
what you're
that's
doing.
my partner.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
See,
So
yeah.
so
And
see,
that's dope. That's what's
and I
about.
don't want to interrupt. My
No,
bad.
no, you're great.
But to touch on that before I forget, because I got ADD too. It'll be like, but like what you said, everybody can't go. That's so true. And what I like to say is everybody doesn't grow at the same rate.
Yeah.
That's what it really. Because I deal with the same thing as a musician. Like a lot of people want to collab. A lot of people want to just kind of. It's almost like you got to learn to communicate in the proper ways.
Yeah.
Like if you're spamming people,
Yeah.
nobody, no
I
human
know,
likes
man.
any of that.
It is
Like,
true, bro.
Hey, bro, here's this. Watch it. It's
For
like
real.
nobody likes to.
I'm just like I'm not
listen
gonna
to
click
you
on it
and
just because you.
I'm gonna
you
delete
you
it.
spam
I'm gonna
Yeah,
delete
exactly.
it out of
like
my
200
inbox.
people.
It's like-
I'm just like, yo,
Exactly.
that's just not the
That's
right.
just
way.
not
I already
right.
don't like authority.
I
But
know.
when someone I don't know is like, go watch this now, I'm like,
Yeah.
delete.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, it's just a normal thing though. So
Yep.
that's important that we're touching on.
sure.
That's the
Yeah.
way you communicate with
It
people.
is,
Like
yeah.
it turns into just like, here, check this out. Spam.
Mhm.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
That doesn't
No,
get you that
because
far.
it's like, especially when it comes to like music, because like I always tell people like when I talk to like people from Topeka and like
Mhm.
and like I friends and music artists and stuff, it's like I'll listen to everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I will
yeah.
try you out and
Yeah.
listen. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's free 99.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
For sure.
But it's like I might not listen if you like tag me.
That's what.
Yeah,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't
If
know
I feel
you.
forced, if
Exactly.
I don't
feel
know
like
you.
You're just forcing it.
Mhm.
on
You know what I
me,
mean?
like-
And it's because like you want to bring people in that just based pure on like your talent,
For
Yeah,
sure.
you know, on like your
Yeah.
vibe or whatever.
Yeah,
Not
I want
like,
them to come there because they found it
Yeah,
and they
you know
want
what I mean?
to, not because
Yeah.
I'm like, hey man,
Yeah.
for the 10th
You want
time
it to
today,
be
did you
tasteful.
listen?
Facts.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the same thing with
Exactly.
like you know, I do a lot of content nowadays. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, how do I like post this? It's like
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to like go watch this now.
Yeah.
It's
For
like
sure.
you don't want it to be tasteful.
It's a real
Exactly.
but
process.
people
It's
are going
important.
to tune in if it's beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
if it's done well,
Yeah.
if it's good educational
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
people are just gonna be drawn to that.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Now how to get a broader audience, you just gotta put in the work and you know what I mean?
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
gotta keep going.
I
at it.
just see so-
viral or
man,
something. But
yeah, yeah.
but the more you hammer at that, the more likely you're gonna
For sure.
be, you know, put yourself like I read this book called You Owe You by Eric Thomas on it.
I've
Oh,
read
yeah,
that.
I haven't read that one.
So he talks about being in
touched on that when he
miracle
was in
territory.
Topeka last time at
He was
the
in
he
Topeka?
came to
Yeah, he brought
I was
us
there,
in.
bro.
Yeah,
I didn't-
we
yeah,
read that one.
Yeah.
And he touched it's a
Yeah,
good book.
like putting yourself in miracle territory.
yes.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yes,
it's not
bro.
luck.
It's
It's like you
not.
putting
It's
yourself
not.
in those situations where
Yeah.
you might get
For sure.
shown, you
For
might
sure.
get seen, you might, but it's like it took years to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
I see so much of that, man, and that's why I'm glad we're because it's like I struggle with that with people. I love people, but like it's the communication thing. It's like because
Yeah.
of course I'm down to collab and work too, but it's like man, like if you can be human first
Yep.
and just be like have that respect, and
Right.
then,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
that's
Genuine.
where it starts.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
for
so.
sure.
Yeah,
For sure. And speaking about like that, you know, like the route that you've come, I know you mentioned Mahomes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but like what got you to that level? You know, like
Mhm.
going from HP, you know, and doing that documentary and then going to, you know, AE.
Yep.
What got you to like get to the level where you're at? Because I mean, uh, you just won an award, a couple awards up in San Diego, and then I see you at the Chiefs ring ceremony the last 2 years.
Yeah, bro,
so
Like he's
those are my favorite jobs.
yeah,
bro.
you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Those aren't even jobs. We
ESPN.
just like get footage and kick it.
Yeah,
Like, it's
that's-
just like a fan.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and you know what I mean. We see you on ESPN. We Monday Night Football stuff. Like when Patrick Mahomes being interviewed, that's you. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like so, it's like what took you from AE into that level?
Yep. So I'm gonna just kind of chronologically go through just to kind of get to where I'm at, because I was at E for a couple of years. I really honed my skills there because it was more like a film school for me, of like with cinema equipment, graduating from like we was like shooting on tape and stuff at Pittsburgh State, like these big old cameras. I had actually invested in a Canon T2i myself. I bought it just to do my class work, because I'm like I need something better, you know what I mean, like easier.
Yeah.
And so anyway, learning at AE just kind of on the job, basically trying new stuff with lighting and learning and going to workshops on their dime, watching workshops because when you're working at a company, they want you to be like, they want you to learn. They want you to, bring your talents to the company, and also like learn and then bring them back to the rest of the film crew. So I would I went to like a workshop in Austin, Texas, and learned from like some industry, like, cinematographer from The Walking Dead, a cinematographer from Game of Thrones, all these industry people.
Yeah.
And I was taking courses online on their dime. So like it gave me a platform to learn in a quick pace, because we was like knocking out a bunch of video as well.
Yeah.
And kind of hone my skills. And so and that was a job for me. It was like, man, this is for fun. They could do this for free. I could do this for free. I can't believe they're paying me. Like, let's be quiet about that, because I could do this for free. But what had happened was management changed there, and it wasn't fun no more. And I realized this is a job. At some point. It was like, okay. And then what happened was we had hired somebody to do this big project, and then I got privy of like what we were paying dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just for this one project. And it was like triple what I was making in one, like in, my month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I can do that. What are you doing? I can do that. But they're just outsourcing it because he's available. He's got the equipment. And that's when, so things started to click and turn for me of like, okay, if I cut out the middleman doing what I'm doing, then I could be a lot more profitable. So that's when it kind of went from like, okay, this is fun. Like I'm doing what I love, to like, okay, how can I, cut out the middleman and do this on my own? That's my dream. That's what I want to work towards. So when I left AE, I went to a bigger company in Kansas City. So I was commuting back and forth for like 2 years. Yeah. Because I was living in Kansas City. And I went to Kansas City out of college to find a video job, and I found one in Topeka.
It's
you know
crazy,
what I mean?
right?
And I'm like, bro, I can't move back to Topeka, bro. I'm sorry. I'll commute.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was commuting for like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Finally found a job in Kansas City, and for the opportunity to like get on bigger projects, like do bigger productions and get that experience under my belt, like shooting on red cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and I was at this company, this global corporate company, doing like I was a cinematographer there. That was my title. And long story short, they fired me. So built a case against me. I was like, I had gone into that job like knowing that like my next move is my own business.
Yeah.
And so that kind of was like an entrepreneurial mindset and like this corporate structure, and it just didn't mesh well.
Like it was a waiting period. You're like, I know at some point.
Like, and I got what I needed out of it. I was just kind of scared to make the move.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Huge move though.
So
like,
my third child was just born, and I remember being at my desk and like literally like from my head down, just like I felt like I was getting paid to put my talents on the shelf. Literally, like it was the most money I had made up to that point, and it was like this figure that I'm like, okay, if I make this, I'll be successful. And I'm like, I made it. I'm like, I'm not happy. You know what I mean? And so I remember being at my desk, and I remember praying like, Lord, I know like I'm on like a 2-year, 3-year plan of like starting my own business and saving up. But if there's any way that you can like kind of, make that plan sooner, like let it happen. I'm content. I'm grateful, but I'm not happy. Like, and it was like, maybe 2 weeks later, I got fired. So it was like, and it was like, Bro, even when I knew, I kind of anticipated because we talked earlier, like they cleared my schedule. It was like they put a meeting at the end of the day on a Thursday. I'm like, oh snap, this might be the big one.
They set it up for a minute.
They fired me. I remember like I knew it was coming, but still feeling like walking to my car and sitting in my car having to call my wife and tell her like it really happened.
Yeah.
I was like crying, bro. Like I felt like a failure. I felt like everything up to that point like was just almost for nothing, or like I had like failed my family. Yeah. I felt that in that moment, you know what I mean? So I went home, you know, I prayed with my wife, you know, she's like, all right, this is it, you know. I took a day to kind of like, I always say like lick my wounds or whatever. Yeah. But then that next day I was like, okay, I can either spend the next 2 or 3 months looking for a job because like the hiring process is, you know, will take that long. I got a master's degree. I got a resume. I got a real, I can find another video job anywhere, I think. But will I ever be able to take this opportunity to like go for my dreams? Yeah. This is the perfect time. Yeah. And so I can't pass that opportunity up. Okay. And so I had made up in my mind that like, okay, like, you know, I might have gotten fired, but it was God shoving me out the door, telling me like there was more for me.
That push, man.
So it was like a blessing in disguise. Yeah, yeah. And so my thing was like I can live with like failing, but I can't live without trying. And so I was like, I'm gonna give myself a year, and if I fail at this, then that's cool. Like I tried, but I cannot live without not trying. Yeah. And so I made that decision. Like, okay, I'm gonna start my business. This is what I need. So at the time, like they gave me severance pay. We were saving up to buy a car cash because we like to buy used cars. We don't like to do a payment plan. So we had money in the bank. And then my wife's daycare business, it was like she had just started like a month ago, but it started to pick up right then and there. So we had income from my wife's daycare business, saved up for a car, severance pay. And I'm like, there is no better time.
Yeah, this is the time.
Watch this.
There's no better time, bro.
You're ready.
So literally the next day, I took a day, cried, felt bad for myself. Yeah. The next day, bro, woke up at 5 o'clock, 4:30, had a garage sale, cleaned out everything, sold everything. I made like $500 from the garage sale. I'm like, dang, bro, we made a lot of money. Yeah, yeah. Bought my first film equipment. It was like this rocker roller cart. So I'm like, I may not be able to buy a camera right now, but I can buy a cart. So I can rent a camera and rent equipment so I can load and push on shoots and travel and stuff. So I'm like, that was my first piece of equipment. It's like $350. I gave my wife the other, was it 150? Whatever. Yeah. Man. And so that's when I started, bro. Like literally from there, it was on and popping. Yeah. 2 weeks later, I launched my business website, logo. I was in business, bro. But I was waking up at 4:30 every single morning.
Hit the ground running.
Hit the ground running, bro. Literally build on my website, build on my logo, hitting up graphic designers. In the meantime, emailing people that like I knew that I freelanced with before because I was like freelancing at the same time, a little bit on the side, just like very small stuff, just $500 here. Yeah. And I was just like, this is it. You know what I mean? So I launched 2 weeks later. I'm like, and it was like, bro, I was like, I had a vendetta. I had like a chip on my shoulder. Like, oh, y'all gonna fire me? Like, watch this. We're gonna see. You know? Like, I really, that's just the competitive spirit that I had. And just grinding, bro. And that first year, I'm like, man, I'm about to make so much money, man. And my brother, I remember my older brother was like, you know, he was concerned. Yeah. He's like, man, you got a child. Like I can sense the hesitation in my family's voices. Like, and I'm naive and dumb and think, no, bro, like this dude made like $10,000 this one time. And I'm like, you know, just naive. And I feel like you got to be kind of stupid.
Waking up, listening to ET, I'm going, bro. I'm up at 4:30. Let's go.
For real. Yeah. And so
you gotta be, to run your own thing, you gotta have like a little bit of like, this is crazy.
Bro. I have to. I gotta do it. Like literally that week, Nike dropped a campaign like Dream Crazy. And then, bro, I was like so hyped.
Bro, was that with Casey Neistat?
It was like with like the first like video was like a skateboarder and like
it was Casey Neistat.
You know, it was just like Dream Crazy. That was your campaign. And I'm like, man, I'm dreaming crazy. Man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let's go.
I love it.
Like perfect time for this to drop.
So you know, I launched and then it was crickets. Zero, like, bro, my first month,
humbling.
Zero. I think my second month, like a friend hired me to edit something like for $300. I was like, bet I made $300 on my own. You know what I mean? And it was like not going how I wanted to go. You know what I'm saying? But I was still grinding. I was like on Fiverr, Upwork. Trying to that like when you can hire freelancers to do, you know, for cheap, whatever. I was like putting myself out there like that. I was just trying a bunch of things, man. But then I had made this this profile on what's called Production Hub, which is basically a database where you can find cinematographers and you can find directors, drone people.
Yeah.
Just in the film production world, you have your profile and people can find you if they come in your city or if they need a cinematographer. And so that's what I was doing. I'm a freelance cinematographer. So I got my first job hired as a DP as a cinematographer, like maybe, you know, a month and a half, 2 months after I like went freelance. And this dude, like, he's from Canada. He's got a French accent. He's like, yeah, I'll be in Kansas City. And like, he's asking what my rate is.
Yeah.
He's asking, I'm like, I don't own nothing right now. I'm like, yeah, you know, let me call you back. Let me email you.
Yeah.
I call my boy like, hey bro, what do you charge?
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And okay, how much can I rent your gear?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I just gave him, I don't even, some bogus price. I probably overcharged him on accident just because like, I think I maybe profited, you know, maybe, you know, 30%. I don't know.
Yeah.
Most of it went to rentals.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I got hired as a DP. It was like a
What's a DP?
So cinematographer is person who is in charge of the camera, lighting, everything behind the scenes of like the image of like, okay, like the director is big vision.
Yeah.
Storyboard, you're going to tell the story and he works hand in hand with the cinematographer. Cinematographer is who executes like the lighting.
So the DP
lenses,
is like director.
camera.
You're like part of the director.
DP is director of photography, which is the same thing as a cinematographer.
Cool.
So it's the
Gotcha,
same
gotcha.
term. It's synonymous. So DP, director of photography, cinematographer, they're synonymous.
Nice. Okay.
So that's what I do for a living. I'm a cinematographer.
Gotcha.
For short, DP.
Let's go.
And so he was a director. He hired me. And after that job, he was like, man, like, he was like, you were the best DP that I ever worked with. And bro, and I was like, he didn't know that was my first job as a freelancer.
Yeah.
Like, I had forgot, like, this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I might be new to the business and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But this is what I do. You know what I mean? And so that gave me so much validation and confidence to like just, you know, keep going.
Just refuel that tank of like,
you know what I mean? So long story short, my first year, I went into debt, bought a camera. I just went all in. I went into debt, I bought a camera. I borrowed some money from my parents. I maxed out my credit card. The way I was looking at it, I was looking like long term. I'm thinking like I might go $15,000 in debt right now, but if this $15,000 investment can make me $100,000 in a year, 2 years, whatever, you would take that any day.
Exactly.
Like, hey, put $15,000 in, you're gonna get $100,000 back.
Yeah.
Anybody would take that.
yeah.
But if you say buy some camera gear, grind for a little bit, you might, you know what I'm saying?
There's a
Make some-
possibility.
You know, people aren't gonna do that.
Mm-mm.
You know, but I had the vision of like, okay, I am for
We'll make it
sure.
happen.
I know.
You
I'm
knew.
gonna-
Yeah,
You know what
for
I'm saying?
sure.
Just because my skills are there. It's
Yeah.
just, I need to learn the business part.
Yeah.
So long story short, bro, about a year, I made like, I think my first year was like maybe 24,000, maybe it's around $30,000 just based on business. And I'm just like, it was like it was more than half of what I made less than, so if I made like 70K at my corporate job, I made way more, less than that.
Yeah,
less than half.
For sure.
You know, but
I'm
it
sure
was
you were looking like, that's 30 though. If I can make
Man,
30.
that's
I'm
you.
like, bro,
Like,
on my own terms, I'm
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
bro,
That's you.
never
Right.
made that before freelancing before. I'm like, and my wife is supplementing. I'm like, she's holding it down. Shout out to my wife.
Yeah,
Shereen.
absolutely.
shout out all
Yeah.
around.
She
Man, why is he holding
homeschools.
it down?
Holds me down.
Okay, wait a minute. She homeschools. I'm gonna have to talk to you about homeschooling. Yeah, because we putting our son in homeschooling. So I'm at the house.
No, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
And so that year goes by, and I'm like, bet. Like, I didn't fail.
Yeah.
I gave myself a year, and I'm like, all right, bet. I made it past the year. You know, 6 months in that year, I'll go back just a little bit real quick because 6 months in, I literally was debating on selling my camera, selling all my gear, and like finding a job. I told my wife, like, I think I'm gonna sell my camera.
Like you hit them points of like,
Yeah.
No, it was like, honestly, bro, it was
I'm gonna
like
have to turn it
crickets
in.
and like, I'm like, I have a family I have to take care of. I can't,
yeah,
like,
man.
you know,
Like I can't
keep-
wait too much longer. on
yeah.
this.
And
Like,
so she looked at me and she laughed at me. Like straight up, like honestly, she laughed at me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm for real.
Oh, no.
She was like, you
My
are
face
not
is serious.
She said, you are not gonna
quitting.
do that.
Like, she's like, I don't even like, you are not quitting. You're not selling. You're not giving up on
Shout
your
out
dream.
your wife for that.
Yeah,
That's
shout
what you
out,
needed,
man.
She
that.
straight laughed at
That's-
me, and it was like, then, bro, like it was like an inflection point. It was like, all right, bet I'm gonna just double down.
Yeah.
So like, I went to like a bunch of, I was just trying stuff, going to networking events. I was hopping on people's sets for free because I'm like, I need to get my name out there.
Yeah.
People need to know me. And so I remember worked on this short film for free, and I met some of my closest friends there that now I met on that set, and I worked for free. It was like we was all working for like 4 to 5 days. And I remember telling people I was just helping out gripping. So gripping is when you're like setting up lights, setting up stands, and you're just like the grunt work of not the grunt work because there's a lot of good grips that love gripping. I'm not one of them. You know what I mean? Never been good with my hands and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're the hands and feet of the cinematographer. So
I
if
gotcha.
like
Setting that stuff up, that's
setting
important.
it up, like, hey,
Yeah.
bro, like we need to hit these lights here. I tell them,
Mhm.
and then the grips are just like execute. You know,
Mhm.
they don't get like a lot of shine because they're
Yeah,
behind the
they're
scenes.
behind the scenes. Yeah.
So I was gripping for this director DP that was prominent in Kansas City at the time, and met a lot of friends there. And I was telling people, yeah, I'm a cinematographer, like I'm a DP, and they were like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? They don't know who I am. They're like, oh, yeah, everyone wants to work with
gripping right now.
Anyway,
Like, yeah.
so like that
Yeah.
next week, I dropped a short film called The Mama's Boy with Kelvin Tiller.
Yeah, with
Oh, that was
that
yeah.
was
That
fire,
was
bro.
that was
So I dropped
good.
that.
I
And
didn't know
like,
that was you. What
Yeah,
the?
bro.
I
Yeah.
don't even put two
The
and two
Mama's
together.
Boy, bro.
That was
Yeah.
a straight
So,
movie, bro.
I dropped that, and like I had met these new friends in Kansas City, and like they see my work,
Mhm.
and like, oh snap, you are a D. I remember a friend, he called me. He was like, bro, I thought you were just like you
Yes.
are a D.
Yeah,
bro,
yeah,
this
yeah.
thing is fire.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then after that, I dropped. So what I did was I was pouring my resources and time and energy into passion projects,
Mm.
and that's one way you can get your name out there and like your story, like
Mhm.
your style. Because those aren't like paid projects to where like you have to kind of custom make to the client. I do a lot of passion projects and spec work because it allows you to put your own voice and what you want to do out into the world. And so
Yeah.
you're basically
Like
it's
that exposure of what you're
exposure
really
of like and then you're attracting the type of work that you want to
yeah,
get.
yeah.
Mhm.
So what
That's
I did
smart.
to answer your question, long story short,
Yeah.
is like not only was I grinding and doing all these things for free and things like that,
Yeah.
but I was putting out spec work. And Mama's Boy was a part of that.
Yeah.
It's on my YouTube page, the Cinematography Lounge.
Yeah.
I am Jada Williams.
Jada
Was a huge, probably one of the biggest amateur women's basketball players. Like
Mhm.
while she was in high school, I
Yeah.
don't think there was anybody bigger than her.
It wasn't. It was her and
She's based out of Kansas City.
yeah.
And so I did her commitment video. That
Mhm.
mug did 500,000 views on YouTube,
Yeah.
300,000 on her Instagram, made ESPN like the article and stuff like that.
So it
And
did
so,
with numbers.
It's
I
great work.
was just doing spec work, bro.
Mhm.
Like, and I was getting hired here and there, but like my spec work really put me on the map of like, and spec work, bro, is you're spending your own time, your own
Yeah.
money. I remember turning down a $4,000 job because I was shooting Jada Williams project. And I was like, I'm gonna lose out on $4,000 right here.
But this is gonna set it up.
What I'm about to make here is gonna bring me so much more money. So I'm
Mhm.
always thinking
Like, just
ahead.
forward
I'm always
thinking,
thinking,
always,
always,
yeah,
bro.
bro.
Like
And-
this is an investment that's gonna bring me
Like, I'm
so
setting me up
much
for this. And
Yeah.
setting
that like
this up
I've
for
already done this job. Yeah, this is
Mhm.
good for the money, but
Yeah.
I've done this work
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
I'm trying to get new work.
Mhm.
And so long story short, I was putting out a bunch of passion projects while I was growing.
That's awesome.
And I had reached out to this DP on Instagram,
Mhm.
kind of notable, and he like this question and answer and like Instagram story thing. I was like, hey, how do you get commercial work? How do you get like bigger like
Mhm.
clients? And he replied and he said, number one, make friends with directors. Because those are the ones that hire cinematographers.
Yeah.
So they have the relationships with the agencies and with the brands. And then if you link up with them and get good with them,
Yeah.
they'll hire you as a DP for
Yeah.
their big projects. Number two, link up with producers. So I'm like, bet. Like he just gave me some like free game that I wasn't even privy to.
Yeah.
So I remember praying. I remember praying like, Lord, I feel like I'm a diamond in the rough. I feel I have the skills and I just need more relationships.
Yeah.
And so literally not long after that, I linked up with a friend who somebody like kept recommending like, hey, you should meet this guy. You should meet this guy. And I seen him on Twitter and
Yeah.
I started following him. I reached out to him. Hey man, I'm a cinematographer. A mutual friend said I should reach out to you. So I'm just saying, what's up? I love your work. Dude. And at the time, like I remember seeing like he had directed a ESPN 30 for 30.
Mhm.
He had done a documentary on stars. He was doing all this big stuff. And I was just trying to say what's up. Like,
Yeah.
hey man, like,
Yeah.
you know, not even on like, hey, I would love to work
like
with you.
see your work.
Yeah.
Hey man, just I just want to encourage you, bro.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you local dude. Like, I love what you're doing. If I just want to introduce myself because mutual friend said, you know, that we would be like minded.
Yeah.
He was like, hey man, it's a perfect time that you hit me up. I was in the gym at like 6 o'clock in the morning, just like I'm gonna just reach out to him.
Yeah.
And he responded right away. He was like, hey man, like I'm actually in need of like cinematographers. My cinematographer that I usually use went to LA. Let's have breakfast. So linked up with them. Couple days later, we hit it off like that. And this is a good friend who's connected. He's got relationships like his production company, ESPN, NBC, anything in the sports world, locally, regionally, even nationally. To be honest with you, he's connected.
That's dope.
And so we like-minded on our faith. He's a family man. I'm a family man. We just kind of hit it off. He's like, hey man, what are you doing next week? I got to shoot. It's like an MLB network. You can like assist on, you can be cam, and we'll just kind of vibe out. And if we work together, we can make a lot of money together.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm like, this is my opportunity.
Yeah.
So, I go to the shoot. The big mistake I made was like, I let the camera die and it died while it was rolling. I was like, oh snap, man, I done messed up my opportunity. We checked the camera. He's like, no, it's all good, bro. 'Cause it was like his fault, because like not his fault, but like his camera didn't give a timeline of like shutting down at what it usually does. So it just shut down. I'm like, dang, I'm like panicking. Long story short, I built a relationship with him, and who was a director who I like was seeking out more directors, and he's I started assisting with them, camera. I was just like anything I could do for him, just for the love, just to kind of build rapport.
Yeah.
And then one time I was on a shoot with him. I was on like this is like, I'm telling you right now, what we was talking about earlier of like, how can you bring value?
Yeah.
So it was during COVID, work was slow, and he had hit me up like, hey man, I need a PA for this small gig, like this 2-day gig. I know you don't PA, you're a DP, but I just, if you just want to make some money and I'll pay you more than a regular PA rate. So a PA is a production assistant.
Okay.
PA is like the lowest of the low on a set. You
kind of just helping with maybe whatever
you need. It's a small crew. So it's like PA and then AC, which is assistant camera, and then like the camera guys, the DPs and director.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, all right, man, I ain't doing nothing. My wife was like, don't PA. That's like beneath you. Like she was just worried about like, and I was like, Rena, I said, every time I'm around this guy, I make money somehow.
Yeah.
Like it just connections.
Like more opportunity.
It's just, and I want to build rapport, and I ain't doing nothing. It's an extra $400, whatever it was. I'm like, let me just,
You do it.
So PA for him. I remember like I told my wife one time like one of the guys was like joking and like calling me a water boy because I'm like helping out with water and stuff. I'm like, bro, chill, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might get beat up back at home.
Right.
Call me a water boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but the next day, he got a call. He was like, hey, I can't make it to this shoot, for ESPN out in St. Louis. Are you available next Tuesday? It's a 4-day shoot, and I need you to DP for it. So it's my first time DPing for him.
Yeah,
this is almost like an introduction.
Open the door
after
for
kind of like a few months after working with him, just assisting and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm available.
Yeah.
So long story short, I do the shoot 4 days. Not only was it a good payday, I killed it. We ended up. It was Monday Night Football. We ended up securing, because it was the COVID, so we had to shoot in their basement, the reporter, and we were doing Zoom interviews.
Oh, wow.
Gotcha.
So we ended up locking down the full season of Monday Night Football in there off of my
clothes.
off of like the work that I've done because they loved it so much.
Yeah.
And we were cool and building relationships and things, and that secured kind of not only my position with that production company and that director as their main DP, like trust and things like that, but like it secured financially like that whole winter during COVID. Which allowed me to buy my Red camera, which allowed me to like expand my business, because like the cameras that you buy are like they're important to like the people that hire you too. You know what I mean? So it's like I wanted to get in that Red camera cinema line so I can get higher jobs.
For sure.
And so that's kind of like how I linked up with doing ESPN and things like that off of one relationship. And from there, doing more spec work, like the Jada Williams project was the first project I did on my Red. I bought it and I'm like, all right, bet I'm gonna do a spec project and just show what I can do with this camera. You know what I mean? And it just took off. And now, then people see that, they go on my website and they're like, hey, we want something like this. Like I'm talking like commercials. Like, I did a commercial with Chime. I did a commercial with Sleep Now. They're like, hey, we need something like this. And it was all based off the reference that we're using was spec project, passion projects.
The value that you were just putting out there. Like
so all that stuff is like strategically, forward thinking. And then once I got like ESPN under my belt and kind of got some of that clout, then the other brands like, okay, cool. He did this. We can trust him with this.
They got that respect. Like, oh, ESPN. Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So it's like once you get one big brand under your name, then it's like, you just kind of use that, put it on your website, you show the work, and then more people will come, and it kind of expands.
It speaks for itself
to
at
different
that point.
relationships. So now I'm in a position where ESPN is like one of our main clients that I do, that I work with a lot. NBC, CBS, and
congrats on that, man.
Thank you, man. I don't. So as a cinematographer, your lifeblood is like any freelancer in the kind of creative market is like relationships with people that are hiring, right? Like marketing agencies and directors and stuff. And so once you have your kind of foot in the door on like multiple of those agencies or whatever. And now it's like you don't have to go look for work.
You just get referrals.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
someone
You're
just
sending something, they're just
constantly
coming.
getting work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's dope.
And so that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like I'm in a blessed position to where like I really don't have to go searching for work.
And you work to get to this.
I have built
for sure.
I have built those relationships where they come to me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and a lot of times it's cool, bro, because like I'm like the fixer. Like they'll hire me like, hey man, like we hired this DP, like we need you. You know what I mean? And they'll fly me in somewhere.
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I mean?
respect.
So I built a career off just like doing right by people, doing good work. You know what I mean? And just kind of being a good person in the industry.
And that's dope. And that's dope. I seen that you said Sleep Number and Chime. Did you do Jalen Daniels?
Yeah,
I did. I seen that. I seen that one too. So
I worked with him a couple times.
Yeah, that was a dope.
up,
Like his recommit or not recommitment, but coming back to KU and not going.
Yeah, and you know what, bro? We shot similar with Hunter Dickerson.
Okay, yeah.
And it hasn't came out yet because like they had lost in the NCAA tournament, and he was supposed to like post it before, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But now that he's coming back, it's still alive. I think they're gonna post it next year. So if you see a Hunter Dickerson like brand video like that, bro, and it's dope too. Like, he did some crazy stuff for that. Like I'm been waiting to like post franchise.
I'm hyped to see that.
But I guess they're gonna wait for next season.
Yeah.
But doing commercials and stuff like that because that's my wheelhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, no, they look fantastic.
Oh, man.
So I hope
like,
that's a long way to answer. I hope
that hit
like
everything. Like it answered
everything.
way more than just what my basic simple question was. You know, and it told your story too. But lead into that, I mean, you're already doing all the stuff for CBS, NBC, ESPN, and all that. Talk about meal ticket.
Yeah.
Like what made you want to do that, and the award, and being out in San Diego and being part of the film festival. Like how was that? Like what made you still? I mean, you got all these contracts with these big companies, so most people would be like, I'm good. I'm gonna be DPing for them. But like a lot of people wouldn't take that next step and be like, I want to do my own still. You know what I mean? Like what made you want to do that?
So like it's one of those things where like I try to do a passion project like once a year.
And what is Meal Ticket?
Yeah. So Meal Ticket is a short film that I wrote and directed. And that's basically what it is, a short film.
Okay, cool.
And so I try to do a short film in some capacity that I direct every year, just to kind of, it's like, because sometimes like, a lot of people see like, stuff you post on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and it's like, oh, that's cool. But it like, sometimes like, there's like a lot of jobs in between too, like that are just kind of just a job. You know what I mean? So
cool little things here and there.
Yeah, you got to keep your creative juices going, like as a creative, in this industry. So for me, like passion projects do that. They like refuel my energy. Like they help me, still have a voice. Because like I got into this when I first started my company or started freelancing. I wanted to build a production company. I wanted I was trying to like go out and get sales. Basically, that's what your job is, to get sales if you're a production company. Like get the brands and you do it all. You do the production, you do the directing, you do the shooting. But then I got into cinematography because I started to get hired as a subcontractor, as someone just to shoot it and then hand the footage off. That's what a DP does. That's what I do. And so I like to do projects myself. So for a living, I shoot other people's visions, help them, do their thing, and then I hand off the footage. I don't do any post-production.
Yeah.
So I try to do passion projects because like I'm in charge of everything.
You got the whole thing.
I can tell the story how I want. I can, and so that's what Meal Ticket came about, because I was like really itching to do not only just a passion project, but like I was really itching to write a script and do a narrative style. So like my other passion projects were like kind of voiceover. Like I'd have a voiceover and like it was narrative and like I'm setting up all the shots, but it's based on real people's lives. Like so Kevin Taylor with Mama's Boy, Jada Williams and her story. Like I'm setting all that up and I'm writing a script on like shot lists and all this stuff, but it's still like nonfiction. Yeah. So I wanted to write a scripted, nonfiction or fiction story to kind of like get those creative juices going. And then also, like I said, forward thinking all the time. There might be a time where like I want to get into directing.
I was going to ask you if that's what.
But I can't if I don't have nothing to show for.
Then
it's like nobody's gonna hire me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, like I've done like my whole career is like I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna put myself on the platform. Yeah. And as a director, if I want to go that route. Yeah. So that's what I basically did. I wrote this story. It's like kind of like an inner city basketball drama. And Shot it in Kansas City, on the west side of Kansas City, Guadalupe Centers, kind of like the Mexican neighborhood. Perfect location, very cinematic. And because I had kind of like, I've been known to like do like really, really dope passion projects.
Yeah.
When I kind of was telling people about this idea that I had, a lot of people wanted to help.
Yeah, it's like, let me in.
I didn't really have to ask. I didn't want to ask. Because I don't like taking advantage of people's times or even the appearance of that. Because there's some people that have taken advantage of people.
We know how important our time
really
is.
bad
that is.
reputation. So it's but so it was just going to be like me and a couple of my core guys that I work with that were like on to help. And then I was talking to a friend about like, I was writing a script and he was like, man, I'd love to read it when you get done. So I sent it to him. He's like, bro, I'd love to shoot this for you, like to DP for you if you want. Cause I was going to DP by myself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, bet. So when my cinematographer, his name is Chris Durr, got on, he does like national commercials, like, you know, just like big stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, bet. Like who better than him to help me do this project? It became something bigger, to be honest with you. It was just like, I was just going to do something low key.
Yeah.
And then, you know, because what he needs to do his job, he needs certain things and certain people.
Yeah.
And so that, you know, we got a producer on the project. We got a gaffer, which is like someone who brings all the lights, and all this stuff was just from the love. I didn't have a budget to pay anybody.
Yeah.
That's fire.
And so it turned out to be kind of a bigger thing, like I said in the vlog, like than I anticipated.
Yeah.
But it all worked out, man. It was super stressful. Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my career. Not only to like write the script, but to like with no budget, you have to do everything. So I was wardrobe. I was also producing and getting locations.
Just making everything work.
Bro, everything.
Man.
You know, like making sure everybody's fed. Like my brother catered on the shoot.
Man, that's dope.
And so it's just so much that goes into just a 10-minute short film.
Yeah. A lot of people don't get that. Like a lot of people don't know.
And it was a proper set. You know what I mean? Like safety. I had like the police, you know, kind of around, you know, to make sure. It's like, and you got to pay for the police presence. But the Guadalupe Centers community, they were like, no, we know the head police that he can just, you know, just show love.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people show love, man, and helped out with this project. Like I said, like, and it's because of the reputation, you know, not only the work that they see, but like the people that I rock with are similar to me. You know what I mean?
Good people,
like,
man.
Good people. Like we're loyal. We're not gonna, you know, do anything shady. We're gonna work hard. If there's a confrontation, we're gonna be upfront about it. We're gonna be honest. And so that's what it was on set, man. Like a bunch of people like-minded, helping for one story. And long story short, I finished it. And now it's I've submitted into film festival, so it's not public online right now. It's private, and so it's making its festival run. And I just got news today that it got selected into the LA Film Awards. So I got a movie selection.
Oh, bro! Congratulations,
so that's dope,
man.
And, 2 weeks ago, I went to San Diego for the short film. It's called the San Diego Short Film Festival. Won Best Screenplay and I won Best Actor in a Leading Role.
Let's go.
Is that where y'all shot that really fire vlog at? Like, I watched that whole thing. I was like, man, this is
bro,
like
fire vlog.
So I wanted, bro. I'm like, man, this is
Super
perfect because like I'm kind of melding like the cinematography lounge with like the content, with like promoting the film. You know what I mean? And then like promote myself as a director too. You know
it's all, and you're doing it like as a content creator, you're doing it in the right process. Like a lot of people just think like, oh, let me just go and, you know, just vlog daily. You know what I mean? Like you have to have like some background, like to want me
like a story.
Like it wants people to like be like, okay, like he's got this going on, but now let me see. It's like you're behind the scenes. Like let me into like what I do throughout my daily life. You know what I mean? Like you and your wife were working out. You know, then. Y'all got dressed. I like your transition where you rolled on the bed. I was like, yo,
it's goofy, but like it's gonna play.
It's dope though. Like, I was like, man, that was a dope way to like transition. I was like, that was sweet. So I mean,
and I was I'm like, oh, this would be just a good transition into like getting ready.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like that's, you know, a lot of people do the get ready with me in the morning. You know what I mean? Like that was a dope. Like that was. I'm saying all that stuff is like, it's like. You're putting more thought into like what you're doing, you know what I mean? Compared to be like, let me just put out content, let me just blah, blah, blah. But it's actual quality stuff, you know what I mean? So
and the big thing for me, bro, is like what we're doing like in this podcast and what you guys are doing, like exposing. Like when I was growing up, when I was 13 making videos, I didn't know about what a cinematographer was. I didn't know what a director of photography was. I didn't know how you could make money in the film industry. I just knew that I loved what I was doing. So I like to share and like what I'm doing on my YouTube and like Instagram and things like that. I like to share what I'm doing because it might inspire like that next athlete that like, what are you gonna do after basketball. What are you
Yeah.
going to do after college? What are you going to do after? That's what kind of the message of Meal Ticket is similar to that of
Gotcha.
like,
Yeah.
you're more than your product or your environment. Like that's the message of the short
Yeah.
film.
Like use your like how you did. Like you use your gifts to go to college.
Yeah.
And you use that college, to go into what you're passionate about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like you had everything figured out. You know what I mean? Like you use that as a way to get into where you want to be.
And so when I was
dope.
growing up, it kind of comes full circle because when I was growing up, literally, like I'm in 7th grade, like in the gym, working out for hours. And in my mind, I'm like, basketball is my meal ticket. Like basketball is going to be the way I get out of Topeka.
Hey.
That's why I worked out.
That's dope.
That's why I was like,
cool.
okay, it was like state championship. Yeah, I want to be all state. Yeah, I want to be all these things. But it's like, I want to get that scholarship.
Yeah.
I got to get out of Topeka.
Yeah, I got to get
like
out.
that was, and basketball was my meal ticket. So like, that's why I named it meal ticket. Because it's
awesome,
like,
man.
use your gifts to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
That's like the main message of the story, and I do it in a way that like will impact people.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for people to see it. You know what I mean?
And I'm
So-
excited for it, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Is there any little like snippet we can get or anything?
Hey, you know what, bro?
So, yeah.
So, man, I'm working hard on getting a private screening for the cast and crew.
That's dope.
I'm working with this theater right now, trying to get a date. But I'm trying to get that locked in because the Evergy Center reached out and said they wanted to host on their screen. So I want to do like a late night showing because I don't want like a bunch of little kids running around and stuff.
For sure.
I want it to be like for young adults, high school kids, adults, and take in and maybe do a Q&A or whatever that we can do and set something like that. I got to set it up, but that's going to come soon, like way before, way after this drop. So that'll be, people want to look out for that.
Yeah, for sure.
For that announcement. So, so I'm trying to do a screening in Topeka before I release it online. So I'll probably release it because I want to keep it private on the film festival circuit just because so it can build momentum. Yeah. And some festivals, they used to like only take projects that were like private. A lot of them don't now. A lot of them it doesn't matter now. But I'm gonna keep it private for a little bit, and I might release it on my birthday in November. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
But I want to do a bunch of screenings to have the opportunity to like share that message of like, do a behind the scenes video after it plays. So if I do a screening, say in Topeka, we'll play the film, and I'll make like a BTS video to play after that. Yeah, and then I'll do like a Q&A. And have an opportunity to kind of, talk to people about what the film was about and things like that. So dope. I kind of want to use it to like share that message.
Yeah, yeah. I mean? No, I think that'd be amazing, bro. Like that, like I said, man, everything that you're doing, bro, like I'm a huge fan. So like the growth that you've had and the growth that you're continuing to see in the future, like I'm all here for it. So anywhere that we can help support, man.
Yeah, no, thank
just
you.
let us know. Man, because we're all about it. You're shining light, man. Like even though like I'm from Topeka, even though you're not here currently, you're from here, man, and you're giving hope to a lot of youth. A lot of youth, a lot of like me. You know what I mean? Like you give me hope because I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm gonna do with content. Like I say, I'm a professional content creator, but like I shoot commercial, like these little TikTok commercials for advertising for people and stuff like that. But like learning, like I guess I do. Like when they hit me up to do a commercial or do a skit together, like. I am directing it. I am doing a lot of the other stuff. And it's like, I didn't know, like, that's really, I was just like, it's what you do.
And you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Too,
I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate it. But yeah, so it's just one of those things. It's like, it helps me like look into like, I guess like if I really want to do some more stuff like that, like what routes I do need to take. Cause I want to get into like, Scream, like as far, I have commercial ideas I have for like my own clothing brand and everything. But like even just being like an actor, like getting into some of these like acting scenes, like that's what I love to do down the line. But like knowing all the stuff that's behind it, like grippers, like I didn't know like what I'm saying, bro.
There's a
like,
whole like
so
industry
much.
that I didn't know about.
Yeah,
that I love. Like I love exposing the average person to,
for sure,
because you don't know if like that's a lane that you might go into. Like, cause I would have loved to like learn. Like I didn't even learn about that stuff in college. It was like post college. I had to like you can't really learn it until you're in it. You know? What I mean?
That's how.
So that's why like I love exposing things on my Instagram and Patreon. I go like way
them little
deeper.
tips and tricks. It's so helpful.
I go way deeper into the Patreon
for sure, man.
And what you're talking about, bro, is like it's like really going after your dreams.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly.
I'm really that's what you've always done, bro. That I've admired. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And what you guys are both doing. You know what I mean? Is admirable because people like I feel like we don't do things based on fear. You know what I mean? Fear of like failing, like, and that's where like a lot of self-sabotage comes into play when you don't even notice that you're sabotaging yourself. Of like, why am I stalling on this? Why am I like procrastinating? You know what I'm saying? You're sabotaging yourself. Or like the fear of other people and their opinions.
All that plays. It's tough. It's a real
is,
thing.
But so like my whole thing, bro, is like in starting my business, man, like and just going out and going after it like kind of helped me get into this mindset more because I was kind of stuck in a box of like go to college, get a good job, build a family, white picket fence.
That book of life, man.
Yeah,
that way of life.
and then it's like getting fired was a blessing because now it's like so it goes full circle to like where I seen when I put in the work, I see the results. So like basketball showed me that. Like a lot of people don't get blessed with like seeing tangible examples of like putting in work and then seeing the results. So like I took that basketball mindset and I put it in my business, you know, and I've seen results. So it's like now it's like I know that it takes time. I know that it's hard work. I know that if you stick with one thing that you're good at, that whatever that is, even if you want to pivot and go other ways, like just see where it goes. And you might see success. So it's like I'm really big on like if I want to do a vlog, I'm gonna just vlog. If I want to do a YouTube, I'm gonna jumpstart my YouTube, and I might get like 5 views right now. But in 5 years, where's it gonna be?
Exactly. That's what I tell people.
You know
all
what
the
I mean?
time.
Starting is tough. That people are
Yeah.
like they let all that fear, like they won't even begin something. Like, no, I couldn't even. Why would I even think? They'll push it aside. And I know one thing all three of us right here have in common. I heard it from you, man. Is like, you know, during those hard times, you'd say that prayer, and you wake up and it's like, we moving. Like I'm gonna pray and I'm gonna step forward. I'm not gonna wait. I don't got time to wait. So like I noticed that perseverance, like no matter what it looks like, and then you hit a new level and you know the new devils, like everything comes and it's like we're gonna figure this out too. We never stop though.
And then once you hit a threshold, it's like, okay, now that's the bottom. That's the floor.
Yeah, now that's the floor.
Yep,
That's
like
the floor.
I leveled up.
And then it's like, boom.
Up.
So that's what I'm, even with this like meal ticket, like the directing threshold of like, okay, bet that was like the hardest thing I've ever done. Now I know what it takes. But now it's like my next project's going to be even bigger.
Yeah, because you know what to go into it at.
Yeah. You know?
For sure.
And what you said, bro, so my motto when I started my business was like, hustle and pray. And so I'm going to get that tatted on me.
Got to, bro.
But I'm starting a brand called Hustle and Pray.
Let's go.
I'm trying to launch it this year. That's another thing that like, something I've had in my brain for like years. So I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
We'll see where that goes.
Well, shoot, let me know how I can support with that.
Tees,
I'll write a song for you, dog.
Yeah, exactly.
For real, I'm telling you, bro. So it's like
that's fire.
That's what you said, bro. Was like is the motto. I think I click with like entrepreneurs, athletes. It's like it's hustle and pray, bro.
Yeah.
That's kind of been my motto since I started my business.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, any way that we can support with that, man, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? Shoot, I love clothes. You know, so
hey, Hustle and Pray sponsored the. I'm from here.
Hey, let's go. We can do it. Get a
free t-shirts.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. We'll make that happen for sure. Yeah, just let people know where you can order.
This episode was sponsored by Hustle and Pray.
Yeah, this episode was sponsored by Hustle and Pray. So y'all know what it is. When y'all see us,
you heard it first here. Hey, I haven't talked publicly about that. That's been on my like literally to do list for like years. But like this is the year I'm like,
it's coming. Hustle and Pray, y'all.
Hey, you know,
Hustle and Pray. So when y'all see us with the care package, when we open it up, shirts and hoodies and everything else.
Now that we put it into the world, it has to come.
It has to come now. There it is.
It's accountability.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. We're all for it, man. But no, man, kind of as we close out, we always ask one like important question. What's your favorite memory of Topeka or favorite thing about Topeka?
Man, you know what? I have I'm not gonna lie, I got a love-hate relationship with Topeka.
I
do. I honestly do, bro, because a lot of people I'll say this and then I'll say, and so I'll preference with like a lot of people, they see me as a positive figure from Topeka, and I am. You know what I mean? And then it's like, a lot of people are like, well, you should move back, and I'm like, man, if I move back, bro, I wouldn't be that positive image for people.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the whole economy structure is like better where I'm at. Like I needed to leave.
Yeah.
I tell relatives all the time, bro, you gotta leave.
Yeah.
So not to be negative, because we've seen so much. We've been so traumatized, bro, coming from like the Southeast side. Like I've seen family members, friends lose their lives and all these things. So there is this, kind of like darkness, but on the positive, like, I met my wife here in Topeka.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the Fiesta.
There you go.
Fiesta's coming up.
Yeah, bro, it is coming up.
I slid in her MySpace DMs.
MySpace, baby.
Slid in her MySpace DMs. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And hit her up, and met her at the Fiesta. 18 years later, 10 kids, 5 kids later, 10 kids. She would say,
10 kids.
She would say, don't put that on me. 5 kids later, 10 years later, a marriage, it's a blessing. So definitely meet my wife. Even my film Meal Ticket was inspired by like we used to go to Deer Creek or J Square and hoop at like midnight. Literally have midnight runs. You know what I mean? After the party, whatever. Hey, we call text and we hooping at, you know what I'm saying? So my film is like a shot at a basketball court at night. You know what I mean? It's like nostalgic for me because we used to hoop at Topeka at night times, So there's a lot of good things, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of fond memories. I grew up here. Topeka made me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. you know, Highland Park Basketball. There's never been there's the moments of like 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
How we had the city and the state like just you know
tuned in,
bro, and like rooting for. We had other fans of other schools rooting for us because we was like such a positive thing in the community. Like that stuff will live forever.
Because around that time, man, it was dark here in Topeka, bro.
Yeah,
like around that time, there was a lot of gang
activity,
a lot of stuff going on.
There was.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
So I mean, and that makes sense why you have that, you know, like that, like love-hate relationship, because you grew up in a different era. Like there's still the stuff going on now, but like there's a lot more like positivity like going on with like us doing some
stuff. There wasn't like
none
of that, bro. In high school,
there wasn't.
None of that, even in
was
college,
different.
Bro. I mean, it like literally, bro, was like it was like darkness. Every time when I would come back from college, I didn't like stopping at stoplights. Like, I still, to this day, I have a fear of like stopping at stoplights.
It makes you think.
Because it's like, who's looking
because
at
I've had my brother's friends get carjacked and killed and all these things like that. So
cautious,
man. But there's a lot of positivity going on.
Sure.
There's a lot of investing in infrastructure. Investing in communities.
It's people. I don't know if you heard the "I'm from Topeka" song, but it's like the people make the place. Like it literally does. That's what we're talking about. Like the people that you were, you know, grew up with, impacted. I know, bro. And that's the thing. That's why we're working on a remix at some point coming soon.
It's coming.
There's too many places, man. I left some.
There's a lot of classics.
I know you probably get that a lot.
Oh yeah, it's like you should have put it. I'm like, there's a remix.
Yeah, trust me, it's coming. But no, Prospect, especially on the southeast side, bro.
And my man Tevin directed that whole thing.
Bro. There's a lot that went into that. Like,
bro, there was
just knowing what goes into a film, setting up the people, setting up the places, the locations. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I appreciate little stuff about stuff that people don't appreciate.
Like that behind, you know, the process of
it
too, man.
You know what I mean? Like I was thinking, like, how many days did y'all shoot this in? You know what I mean? Like, things like that.
I've gotten a lot better. Like, I think we took like 3 days or so.
3 days,
but the editing, like my editing could be way better. I just do it on my phone or my iPad. But like once I can actually like, because I haven't really sat down and learned like Adobe Premiere or anything like that to where I could really sit down. But once I actually be able to sit down and do that stuff, like I'm all for like a lot of, but like I said, that's like you give me that inspiration and being like, this is what you can do from this. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm literally at the very bottom. Like I send it from my camera and send it to my phone or send it to my iPad.
It's cool to see where you're getting like a lot of your inspiration from too.
For sure.
Man,
I mean, like I watch, man, and I like Peep Game because Uncle YouTube, you know, he'll teach you a lot. You know what I mean? Like, for sure.
But, and then one last thing before I just wanted to say too that like the way you kind of said earlier about like you're checking out one of your other videos that's at 60,000 views right now, and you're like, man, you can look back and be like, yeah, it could have been this, that, maybe some of the edits, some of the shots, but the point is, man, is like the idea was there though. Like, so, you know, we worry about that a lot. And this is to anybody that's out there. And we've touched on this a lot. It's like, you got that perfection in your head, like how you see and all those expectations, man, take the idea and just, you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And Thank Media, shout out Thank Media. I watched them. They just said, just press record, man. Just like that's the intro. Always just record, man. Start. Like,
bro, I love that you like ending on that because my big thing is just do, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like, you know, from a microcosm of like when people ask me like, how do you make videos? How do you get better? Like, man, just do it. I started at 13, just like figuring it out. You know, and you put in those 10,000 hours, it's gonna take that.
It's gonna take it for sure.
But it's not gonna take that if you bypass and try to this microwave solution. It's not, bro. Just do it. You have that idea, just do it. You have a podcast idea, just do it. You know what I mean? Like,
up to it.
That's go for your dreams. Like,
man, I love that.
You know what I mean? So my thing is like hustle and pray. Like honestly, so
that's fire.
I trust in the Lord to whatever it is I do. Like Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. You know, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. Acknowledge the Lord in all your ways. He'll make sure you pass.
That's it.
So it's like, you know, you bring the Lord in it, but also like you have a job to like move your feet, move your hands.
Yeah, faith without works, we know is empty.
So it's like, so like that's what I do, man. I trust in the Lord, but it's like I need to take action.
Boom, there it is.
You know, and so that's what my big encouragement to anybody watching this, like, is just be about action. You know what I mean? And write down your goals and action steps and just do it.
Yeah, and I love that. Where can everybody find you at?
So Instagram, Adrian B Herrera.dp. You can put it on the screen right here.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? And then from there, I have on my link, like my profile link, it has all my links to like my cinematography lounge, Patreon, the YouTube page, and all, like I do a lot of stuff through Instagram. So if anybody's like, hey, you got business card, like follow me on Instagram.
Yeah,
because
that's easy.
Cool.
Yeah, but check out the YouTube channel.
For sure.
The Cinematography Lounge.
Yeah, I'm subscribed on like all 4 of my YouTube
Yeah.
channels.
Appreciate
Like,
Same.
So you're the
Watch it.
4. You're
I'm the 4, bro. I'm in there.
I'm trying to
in
get to
there.
2,000, bro. I'm at like
Yeah.
1,700. Been there for a minute, so I'm like, bro, I need
YouTube's
to
a
get there.
grind.
It is.
I know, bro. I'm
It's a
just like, you
grind.
know, I just tell my wife before I came, I'm like, man, am I committed to do this for like 5 years? But I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing it for the numbers, bro. I'm doing it to like impact that one person.
And also
You know
doing
what I
it
mean?
because
It's lifelong.
your kids
Yeah.
are gonna
You
grow
just-
up.
Yeah.
You know, your kids are gonna grow up, and like that's why I started doing everything. It's like I'm just documenting my life, bro.
Exactly,
Like I'm
bro.
just documenting it,
Yeah.
and it's like the
Yeah.
easiest way for us to document our life nowadays is,
Yep.
is social media. So, but yeah, well, we appreciate you, man, for
Yeah,
coming
man.
down and
Seriously, bro.
and swinging on by, man.
thank
All
you
your
so
time
much.
is
Yeah,
so
appreciate
much,
you guys having me,
so
man.
valuable.
Yeah, keep doing
man.
what you're doing. You know what I'm
For
saying? I love what you're doing, so thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
man.
problem, man.
Thank
and
you.
make sure that y'all subscribe, like, comment,
Leave a
who we should
comment.
have on the podcast next, and make sure you hit that bell notification so you never miss an I'm from Topeka
Don't miss it.
podcast episode. Let's go. We can't wait to see y'all next time.
Peace and love.
You from my city, say it with me. Throw them T's way up in the sky. From the north, south, west to the east side. Topecity. I love Topeka, baby. It's about the people, baby. Yeah.